What's up, everybody? I am David Pere, the military millionaire. I was asked, actually more than once over the last couple weeks, if I would do a video breaking down what to expect at MEPS, the Military Entrance Processing Station. Now, I realize that a large percentage of the people who listen to my channel are already in the military, so you already know this, but there is a subsect of people that I am reaching, which is awesome, that hasn't joined the military yet or hasn't joined the delayed entry program, which is incredible because that means we have the opportunity to help you guys out with finances before you get to the point where you're in the military, which means that you will be able to understand things like the thrift savings plan or the VA loan. Before you join the military, you understand those benefits that are meant for you. So I hope you're finding this because you were looking for what to expect at MEPS, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about me. I was a recruiter for the Marine Corps for 3 years, and I was a staff NCOIC, so I ran a station at one point, and I did fairly successful, I suppose. And so I've done a lot of these briefs for MEPS. Now, I am not going to give you the brief here that I gave people when they were going to MEPS for the Marine Corps. I'm going to give you, I guess, a little bit more detailed, like some of the things that I don't want to say you can't say as a staff NCOIC, but some of the things that, you know, probably just a different screening process. Like, for example, when I was a staff NCOIC, I would try to scare the hell out of you to tell me if you'd ever smoked pot and how many times, and threaten you that you'd go to jail if you smoked 4 times when you told me 3 times and we found out that it was 4 times. You know, whereas right now I'll probably tell you, like, look, at the end of the day, nobody's going to be able to look back to when you smoked pot 3 years ago and be able to know if it was 3 times or 4 times, right? So just be honest. Yeah, I smoked pot. How many times? And whatever number you come up with, stick with it, because you know, the chances are if you smoked pot 17 times, you probably didn't keep a log, right? So, you know, if it was 16 or 17, like, you don't even know that. So nobody else is going to know that. So just be honest with what you think is the right number, and then stick with that number, because if it changes, then you got some issues. So that's kind of the difference here. Is this is not what I would have told somebody when I was trying to screen them. This is things that kind of the mentality behind this. So this will give you a little bit of an understanding of what to expect for MEPS, going to MEPS, coming from MEPS, what you should and shouldn't do while you're there, and then, you know, what might be worrisome and what's not really worrisome. And then when we're done, you know, I'll give you some updates on some things that you guys should learn, you know, what you should be looking towards financially, so you can set yourself up for success after the military. And this is a very casual video. I'm just sitting at my desk. So just imagine we're sitting across from each other at a table here. So today is the day. Ooh. So look, here's the deal. MEPS is a scary thing, right? You're not, some of you, this might be the first time you've been out of the city, right? Depending on where MEPS is. So let's assume that where I ran the station, MEPS was about 3 hours away. So you would get on a shuttle, whatever day, that morning, and we would sit down in the office, and this would be kind of when this brief is going on. I'd screen you, I'd ask you a million questions, we'd confirm everything was right in your package, make sure we had your social, your birth cert, your driver's license, or government ID. Then you'd get on the shuttle, you'd drive up to MEPS, and, you know, it'd take 3 or 4 hours, whatever. Then you sit in this hotel all day. So what we're going to just focus on once you get there, right? So once you get to MEPS, you're going to stay in this hotel the night prior. And the reason you stay in the hotel is a couple of different reasons, but the main one is just because they're going to wake you up super, super, super early, and then you're going to go to MEPS. Now, the hotel's cool, right? They probably have a PS5 and the Xbox. Like, they have kind of a USO type thing for all the poolies or future poolies, all the people going to try out for the military. And so you're going to have games you can play, videos you can watch, movies, television, whatever. And then you have a curfew, so they'll send you to your room at a certain time. You have to go to bed because you're going to get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning to go to MEPS. And then kind of depends on what you've got going on. So if you haven't taken the ASVAB yet, the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery Test, by the way, I have a video, I'll link to it down below, but I have a video on the ASVAB, so if you want some study tips, go check that out. If you haven't taken the ASVAB yet, you will take the ASVAB the night that you go up there, and then you'll go to the hotel. And if you have taken the ASVAB, then you'll just go straight to the hotel. And then the next morning, you'll wake up really early. And there's a couple things you need to know here. Number one, eat a normal breakfast, right? Like, get up, grab something to eat, you know, whatever. Don't freak yourself out. You're going to be kind of nervous. You're going to be kind of nerve-wracked, whatever. It's going to be super early. You're going to go over there. So you get screened by your liaison. They'll go through some of your stuff, and then they'll walk you through. They'll kind of escort you through everything. And just so you know, everything at MEPS is going to be super high stress, super high speed. you're going to feel like you're bugging everybody at MEPS. They're just super busy. They're going to be kind of rude. The whole process is meant to like stress you out and get you to be honest, right? So, and it's also to just get a whole bunch of people through a process that's fairly long and painful quickly. So just know that it's nothing against you, you know, whatever. So you get up there, you'll do your freaking, your screening, then you'll have to do a urinalysis. They're going to watch you pee. Yep. You're going to straight up, they're going to watch you. They will stare at, you know, if you're a dude, they're going to stare at your penis and they're going to watch you pee. And that will not be the last time that happens while you're in the military. It is what it is. They just want to make sure you're not cheating the test, right? So you're going to piss. Some of you, that's going to be really awkward, right? Like some of you are not going to be able to take a piss while someone's watching you. And guess what? You're going to have to figure it out because you have to. So it is what it is. You're going to do vision. They're going to test your vision. Some of you may find out that you have like astigmatism or something you didn't know about. They'll do a color vision test to see if you're colorblind. They'll do a depth perception test to see if you have depth perception. You might ask why that matters. Well, in my job, motor transportation, you can't do it if you have no depth perception because they don't want someone with no depth perception driving a 40,000-pound truck down the road. So you're going to do all these different tests. That's actually why the Marine Corps won't guarantee you a job before you go to MEPS, because we don't want to say, yeah, you can be an electrician and then you're colorblind and you can't be an electrician. So food for that. So do those tests. And you'll get to do the duck walk, which is basically like you put your butt on your heels and try to like waddle, and you're going to do all kinds of weird tests. You're going to do all kinds of weird range of motion tests. They're going to look at your arches of your feet. You're going to strip down. They're going to make you turn and cough if you're a guy. They're going to do, you know, all kinds of wonderful tests if you're a guy or a girl. It's going to be kind of awkward, right? You're getting a full exam to make sure that you are in shape for the military. If you're a woman, they're going to tell you if you're pregnant. I had that happen to a female. She found out she was pregnant at MEPS. If you're a female, also make sure you're not wearing any jewelry. Had some very interesting experiences. We had a girl who went up there who had a, I guess you'd say hood piercing, and then another piercing around the backside and like a chain running between the two. Very strange. Just make sure you got to have all your piercings out before you go to MEPS. So if you have any piercings, male, female, whatever, take them out. I got to make sure they're closed up, you know, and they got to make sure if you're a girl, your ears are just normal earrings, not gauges. Also for the ladies and men, but just wear normal underwear. Don't wear anything crazy up there. Don't wander around in lingerie or banana hammocks, right? Just normal, plain Jane, boring stuff. Otherwise, they will give you stuff to wear, and it's, you know, like whitey tighties. Just make sure you're dressed professionally. Like, consider this a job interview, right? Don't go up there looking like trash. Like, you want to represent yourself well for this process. And you're going to be dealing with doctors and stuff. They're going to do all the weird tests, and it's all meant to make sure that you are healthy. It's there to make sure you don't have anything wrong with you that would actually have you get hurt while you're at boot camp or whatever. I actually had a young lady who got hurt, who got to boot camp and found out she had like scoliosis, and they sent her home, and it's a bummer, but you know, at the end of the day, it's better than her getting hurt really badly while out there. So that's the whole point of all this, is to make sure that you're healthy enough to serve your country. And again, this is a job interview, right? Like, this isn't a guarantee just because you want to join the military, you get to. Like, you have to be healthy, you have to be in good shape, you know, things have to work out well for you. So let's say you make it through all this stuff. There's a couple things you need to know through the screening process, right? The first is be honest on everything. But the second is don't be as honest on everything. And I'll explain what I mean there. Look, let's say you told your recruiter everything you could remember about your medical history. And while you were doing the screening at MEPS, you remembered something that you had forgotten to tell them, right? Like, that could be anything from, like, I used an inhaler once, to I got stitches in my kneecap once, to, you know, whatever that is. You remember something that you didn't tell your recruiter. Don't bring it up at MEPS. Now, MEPS is going to scare you. They're going to tell you you have to say everything, and, you know, if you don't say everything, you know, whatever. But the problem is sometimes people say things at MEPS that just really end up screwing you. So look, a prime example. Let's say when you were a kid, you used an inhaler one time for like bronchitis, and you tell the MEPS guy, hey, yeah, I used an inhaler once, right? And then there's no documentation to prove that it's bronchitis or asthma. And then you have to go get a test to prove that it's not asthma, and it's on your dime, depending on how it comes out in the conversation, right? Like, you may be paying for that. So just know that it's better for you to stick with what you had originally said, get approved, and then come back down to your station and then talk to your recruiter and say, hey, I forgot I got 2 stitches at one point. Because what they'll probably do is just go get the medical documents and say, hey, send these up. We have to add this set of stitches to his record, as opposed to them saying, hey, you can't swear in today. You're going to have to take a whole nother trip up to MEPS because we have to wait for getting these records. And that's not to say to lie. You should be absolutely honest with your recruiters about everything. But if you think of something you forgot to mention, wait till you get back down to the station and then take care of it. On that end, it'll be much easier for you than it would if you were at the station and, you brought something up and now your recruiters are like running around trying to find all these medical documents the day of. Same thing with the drugs. Again, be honest, but again, probably don't bring up stuff that you hadn't already brought up. Wait till you get back down. Again, they're going to try to scare the hell out of you. If you can't remember if it was 11 times or 12, whichever number you went with, stick with it. It's not going to make that big of a difference at the end of the day. You were honest about how much you think you smoked. Don't second guess yourself. Nobody else is going to know. Obviously, don't pop on the piss test, because if you pop on the urinalysis, then you can't enlist. And so those are kind of some of the basics. For the Marine Corps, when you're done with all the medical stuff, you'll then go over to the command and you'll have to do pull-ups and crunches where they'll see kind of what your fitness level is before they decide for sure they're going to accept you into the DEP. For the other services, I don't think so. You'll swear in and then you'll go back down to your station, right? So that's the down and dirty. There's a lot of stuff that can go good or bad up at MEPS. Some of the things that were very common were dirty ears, and they would send you out to get your ears cleaned so they could do the audiogram to make sure you have good hearing. Vision, a lot of times that we'd have to go get people vision tests to make sure that their vision could be corrected with glasses. High blood pressure is another one. That's actually kind of normal because you're going to be stressed out while you're up there, and so your heart's going to be going. You might have a little bit higher blood pressure. If that happens, you'll have to come back down, and you'll have to do blood pressure tests 2 different times where they register normal. So you need to just make sure when you're doing the blood pressure test, you just breathe slowly, and don't let yourself get super nervous, because that's something really small that can be avoided. And then another thing is, a lot of times it's just bringing something up that hadn't been documented, and they need documents, right? I forgot I broke my finger. Okay, well, we need something to show that your finger healed properly, which is why I say don't worry about So I say don't worry about bringing stuff up right now. If you can bring it up, once you get back to your office, make sure it's all good. But again, do what makes you feel morally correct. I would just say bring up as much stuff as you can before you go to MEPS and talk to your recruiter. And then, they're going to do the legal background check. So, if you had a felony and you didn't tell your recruiter, they'll find out while you're up there. You'll do your background check. You'll certify it with your fingerprints. You should have already filled that out before you go to MEPS. But that's the basics, right? It's basically just make sure you're legally qualified, medically qualified, morally qualified to join the military. And then assuming that you pass all that stuff and you're physically qualified and you pass the ASVAB, you're good to go. And then from there, you'll go back down to your recruiting station. They'll help you talk through jobs based on what you qualify for now that you've been completely medically and educationally screened. And then you'll pick a date for boot camp. So that's a little bit of what to expect. Now, I will say real quick, I'm going to tack on here. If you are in this situation, you absolutely need to go watch my videos on the thrift savings plan, because the TSP is the single best thing you can do financially that you get to set up at boot camp. And so you need to go watch those and realize hey, just setting up 20% of your income to go into this thing. I would do more as much as you can, but just 20% going into this thing where it's tax advantage, long-term retirement account will set you up for success. And then that way you can afford to take some more risks when you get into investing, and you can really, really start to set yourself up for success financially through either using the VA loan with real estate or some civilian, stock investments, lots of cool stuff. So definitely just, when you're done with this, go watch the thrift savings plan video, and then let me know what other videos about joining the military would you like? I've got ASVAB videos, I've got MOS videos, now I've got a MEPS video. What other information would you guys like to see that will help you out with the decision-making process for joining the military and what the process looks like? Let me know. Have a great day.